Guys, it is here. Finally. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dano channel. I am Dano and I'm back with another Star Wars lightsaber video. This time, we are looking at the Clone Wars Ultimate Lightsaber set. Oh my goodness, it's the build your own lightsaber from the Star Wars Clone Wars era electronic lightsaber toy. I have it. I finally have it. These so many pieces, actually not so many, but like 3 pieces that I've been missing, and they are in this set. So now I can make all of the lightsabers. So, okay, before we get into the unboxing and everything, I gotta tell you, I bought this used. I got it on eBay. Normally, this thing goes for about $100 to $125. That is a lot for an old toy. That goes for ones that are sealed and packaged. This one, it's been used. In fact, they told me it was missing some pieces. It wasn't. They were in the package, so I got a really good deal. I ended up paying $40 for it. That includes shipping. That was $40 with shipping. So, let me show you the box. And there we go. There's a little close-up of the box. And check this out. It originally cost $40 anyways. So, I ended up coming out okay on this one. Alright, so let's start up here at the top corner. We got a little Mace Windu action from the Clone Wars. Bunch of little pieces you can see through the window there. Star Wars, the Clone Wars Ultimate Lightsaber. Build your own lightsaber. There's Obi-Wan and Anakin. More pieces you can see through. This came from KB Toys. Requires 3 AA batteries. Not for children under 3, but it is for kids 6 and up. Oh look, there's Dooku. We can definitely make a Dooku lightsaber. There's this piece there, and there's a little attachment for it. It says create over 1,000 combinations. Oh look, there's a little. Is that the Separatists? I'm not sure what group that is. I believe it's the Separatists. And then a picture, or not a picture, but a window to our hilt, customized for Jedi or Sith, favorite characters, or your own unique style. That exactly is why I love these, because you can make them however the heck you want, and it can be your unique lightsaber. Last, we have electronic light and sound, and there is a big glaring rip in the package right there, so that's another reason why it was discounted. But again, I was just going to open it anyways, so I'm not the least bit upset. So there are some examples of the toys that you can make. I see Count Dooku, I see Yoda, Mace Windu, Maris Brood, and those are the same examples we've got on the back here. So let's start up at the corner. Star Wars, Clone Wars, Ultimate Lightsaber. What does the blurb say? Clone Wars are raging. Are you a Jedi or Sith? Will you duel as Yoda or Count Dooku? Mace Windu or Maris Brood? Or will you create a unique weapon for the battles ahead? The choice is yours. Build your very own lightsaber and ignite endless galactic action and adventure. So then it gives you kind of instructions. Assemble the parts different ways. Over 1,000 possible lightsaber configurations. So it includes 1 hilt, 1 blade, 3 Ilum crystals. They're not called Kyber crystals on here. They're called Ilum crystals, which, if I remember correctly, originally it was said, this is old canon, so now legends, that the Kyber crystals came from the planet of Ilum. So, interesting. We get 1 tonfa handle, 4 end caps, 3 sleeve rings, 1 blade emitter guard. I don't know what that is. Okay, I know what that is. And instructions. This didn't come with instructions. But next up says select your blade, which this only comes with 1 blade, so you really can't select it. But creates a Jedi or Sith style. We get to create your crystal color. Use 1 or more crystals to choose your blade color. You guys will see how that works shortly. Customize your hilt. Those are all the different pieces it comes with. Personalize with sleeve, rings, hilt sleeves, and ignition switches. Which is another interesting thing about this set. It doesn't actually come with rings. It comes with hilt sleeves, and that's it. And there's no ignition switches either. I guess you can count Yoda's as an ignition switch, but no rings, which is weird. The other set came with rings. So last, we get to attach your cap. So select an end cap. Your lightsaber is complete. And then we get a bunch of cool stuff here. StarWars.com, Hasbro, proof of purchase. Visit StarWars.hasbro.com. And then look at the examples here. Maris Brood Special Hilt allows you to make a tonfa lightsaber. Use 1 or more crystals to create 6 different blade colors. We get a shot of Mace Windu's lightsaber, Yoda's lightsaber, Count Dooku's lightsaber, and then the last little piece. Blade lights up to show you the true power of the Force. Easy to reconfigure for a new look and a new destiny. Guys, it's time. It's time to get this thing open. and let's build some lightsabers. Let's compare them to the Disney build-your-own lightsabers because they are almost the same thing. But there are some differences. There are definitely some differences. Oh, look, my box is even more ripped over here on this corner. That's not a good thing. But, like I said, whatever. I'm opening it anyways. It's not like it was going to be brand new. And I didn't want to pay $1 billion for it. Oh, here goes. Can I get it open? Okay, there we go. So there's the flimsy box. Goodbye. Here are all the pieces. There they are. You can see them. Got all the little emitters, tonfa blades, or tonfa handles. This is my blade. Notice the color. There is no color. So this is interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this works. Now I already know. I already played with this because I couldn't contain myself. So I'm going to take out all the pieces. I'm going to put my emitter ring. I'm going to put them in order of the emitters, so on and so forth. So there's this piece. That's for Count Dooku. It doesn't look like it yet. And what's interesting is the Maris Brood configuration uses that Count Dooku emitter, but it doesn't use this emitter guard, which is exclusive to Count Dooku, and it plugs in and it comes right off. So there's that emitter. There's got to be another one here for Yoda. Cool. And we've got a couple end caps. End cap. Here's a Count Dooku end cap. Here's a tonfa blade, or tonfa handle end cap. And then I feel like I got more end caps than anything else. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different end caps. Interesting. 3 emitters, 4 if you count the extra piece. And then I get 3 sleeves / ignition switch. Not really. They're kind of, I mean, you use the same sleeve and the ignition switch to make Yoda. So, I don't know. And this is Count Dooku's little button cover. And then there's one that's just the sleeve. It's not a button cover. And last, the most important piece in this whole thing is the actual hilt. Now, this hilt may look very, very familiar. In fact, I want to show you guys a close-up of this hilt compared to the one from Disneyland, which I actually have right here ready to go. Good save, right? So let's compare the two. Let's start there. Okay, so on my right here I have the Clone Wars Build Your Own Lightsaber, Ultimate Lightsaber, Kid Lightsaber, and this is the one from Disneyland on the left. Mine's got a little ding on it, it's a little dinged up. First big difference I'm seeing is the sticker. This one has a sticker, Disneyland's does not. Okay, cool, makes sense. The markings should be exactly the same. C089 or whatever, let's look at it the right side up, how about that? 2007 Hasbro, made in China. It's got a little marking there. Let's take a look at the older one. This one says 2007 Hasbro China. And yeah, same marking, so that's interesting. Now notice the look of this. As with the new ones at Disneyland, this is the current 2017, 2016 model from Disneyland. It's made to look like Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber, except for the bottom, and of course the emitter. We have the same situation this time around. This time it's made to look like Mace Windu's lightsaber, except for of course, the emitter and the end cap. So that's just something to note there. They both have this little trapdoor here. I don't know if it's a trapdoor or what you want to call it, but there are 3 crystals inside. And they told me when I bought this that it didn't have the crystals, but they were wrong. It does have all 3 crystals inside. And they affect the little lights up here. So first, I want to show you something. This is the Disneyland one. So it's got all 3 crystals in, and this is what happens. It lights up, and it's super bright. And it's very bright, and there you go. Okay, so now I'm going to remove one of these crystals. Gotta set it down. Let's remove the green. And maybe you'll be able to see it. I don't know if the phone's going to pick it up so well, but you can kind of see it. Some of the lights are not on this time. Some are on, some are not on. Interesting. Okay, let's set it down. Let's remove yet another crystal. And again, this is the Disneyland version. Notice they were all white lights. Let's see what happens this time. Now there are even more lights that are off. So that's interesting. Okay, let's remove the final crystal. What happens? I think it's just random. It is random. Look, so now it just changes to whatever it wants. Right? Kind of crazy. The pattern's changing of which ones are lit, which ones are not. Okay. So we can assume the same thing's going to happen with this other lightsaber. This time, let's do it with all of them in there. They're all in there. Oh, and you can see there's a lot of different colors going on. There are blue, red, and green. Same as the crystals. So when we attach our clear lightsaber, it's going to pick up those colors and emit them all the way through the blade. So let's do the same here. Let's go ahead and let's take out the green, and in theory we'll be left with blue and red. So let's take a look here. We've got blue and red. So we're kind of seeing how this thing works. So next let's remove blue, and I should just have red left. And it works the same way. If I only had green, only green would light up. If I only had blue, only blue would light up. But when I remove all the crystals, look, there's all the lights there. Let's see where my button is. Let's see what happens when I turn it off. And turn it back on. Oh, look, some are off. Now I only have red and blue, so that would be like a purple color. Now, let's see, I only have... Is that blue and red or green and red? Yeah, green and red, so I got Christmas colors. Next, I've got just red. So now we get to really see how this thing works. Next, let's build a lightsaber. Let's build Mace Windu's lightsaber. I know you guys have been wanting me to do Mace Windu. So since it's part of the set, let's build Mace Windu's lightsaber real quick. If I can get the little crystal back in. That's the hardest part, is getting these little crystals to stick back in there. But I'm going to do blue and I'm going to do red, because those two together would make purple. And let's do Mace Windu's lightsaber. Let's put our blade on. Let's put our emitter over the top of it. And that just screws right in. Boom. And then we use the bottom. The bottom is the only unique part. And in fact, where is that? He has a very specific bottom piece that he uses. And I believe this is it. That looks about right. And there we have it. This is Mace Windu's lightsaber. Now, because it's so bright in here with all the studio lights, you guys can't really see what the color of the blade is, but we'll turn the lights out in just a second. Here's a bright light look at it, so you can see it does carry a little bit of that purple all the way up. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better once we turn out the lights. But there's a look at Mace Windu's lightsaber. That's what they think Mace Windu's lightsaber should look like, according to this toy. Now, before I turn off the lights, I did just notice I used the wrong end piece there. There are two pieces that look very, very similar. You can take a look here. One is the shorter one with the gold little edging. The other one is taller and more round. I have the taller one on, and it's not actually the one that you're supposed to use for Mace Windu. You're supposed to use the shorter one. It's got a little bit of a blocky grade on top, while the other one's more rounded. So, let's go ahead and put the correct one on here. There we go. And let's turn out the lights. Oh, there we go. So, this is interesting. It's interesting the way it carries the light on this. So you guys can see it there. It looks a little bit white just because of the camera. But if we look up close, you can see it go from kind of red to blue to red to blue, all the way up and down the hilt. Which I think that's really interesting that it does that. So, you know what? While we're at it, let's remove some of those crystal colors since the lights are already out. And let's take out the red crystal. So this has red and blue. Let's make it just blue. So see that? It's definitely got a nice blue tint to it. There you go. You guys can see it there up close. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. It's a good blue. On video, it doesn't show up nearly as blue as it does in person. There's more of a blue-green tint to it in person, and on video, it just doesn't show up the same. All right, let's do just green. If I can manage to put the crystal back in there. There we go. We've got just green. And let's see how this looks. Okay, so that is a pretty solid green. I do like the coloring on that. That looks really good. And again, on video here, this close-up of it doesn't quite do it justice as to what it looks like in person. It actually does carry the light pretty well, even though it is a clear blade. But I do like that. I think that looks really good. All right, next, let's do some random combinations. Let's just remove all the crystals and see what happens each time I drop my phone. No, each time I get the lightsaber ready. Let's see exactly what happens here. So this is a blue and green combination. This is both blue and green. Again, it looks a bit more blue-green in person than it does on the video. Turn it off. Let's try again. Ooh, this one looks like this is just solid blue. You can tell it's got more of a good tint to it. Okay, next up. That looks like it's just solid green. That is solid green. Not bad. Okay, next we've got... Ooh, what is that one? That one's all 3 colors. You get a little bit of all 3 colors. And here it looks more white. In person, it's like a very, very light blue color. So, there's that. What's next? Okay, we've got our red and blue combination. It has a little bit more of a red color to it on this video, but in person it does alternate from red to blue all the way down. So that's kind of cool. Next, we've got... Ooh, what is that? That's got to be red and green mixed together. It's got kind of an orangey green color to it. You can see... There we go. Red and green. And just red. That seems to carry pretty well. I like that. And the sound's different. You hear how different that sound is when it's just red? That is pretty cool. Alright. And next, I think we're going to hit the end here. That would be blue and green. I think we're back to the beginning of the pattern now. Just try one more time. I'm guessing it's going to be just blue. Just blue. Correct. Now that we've taken a look at all the different blade colors, I do want to show you guys just the other combinations that they suggest you make, like Yoda and Maris Brood. So we're just going to put the blade off to the side here, and we're really just going to focus on the pieces. So first off, I'm going to do Maris Brood last, but let's do Count Dooku just for the heck of it. I've got one of the pieces right here ready to go. Count Dooku can get this one. He can get this thing, I believe, just slides right on. I don't know if that's the correct way, but we'll find out shortly. That is not the correct way. We want it to be more like this. Very good. There we go. And then it ended with his little cane topper piece. Ooh, this one's much tighter than the Disneyland one. The Disneyland one ends up being loose, and it doesn't go on and line up quite right. This one is a little too tight, and it actually stops just a little short, but I like it. I do like how that works. So this is the Count Dooku one. You guys can take a look at it up close. There you go. Those are all the pieces that make up the Count Dooku lightsaber. Again, the alignment doesn't hit perfectly, because if you hold it this way, you'll notice things are a little bit crooked and off. But I actually like it like that. I think that's kind of cool that way. So that's that. That is the Count Dooku configuration. Next up, we can do the Maris Brood. This is actually really, really similar. You would use the same emitter. The emitter that I put on originally was one that I had already super glued for my old Disneyland one. This little piece that pops in and out for the Count Dooku set, it does, if you do it enough, it does keep popping out, or at least on the Disneyland one it did. So I got sick of that and I just super glued it. So now I can't, undo it, but it's okay. I'm alright with that. Alright, so Maris Brood, she's got this same little piece. This is something else I should note. I want to show you guys how there's some interesting little differences here. The one from Disneyland, there it stays on pretty well, but you hear it, it's loose. The Ultimate Lightsaber Clone Wars one doesn't shake as much. The pieces are either smaller or the hilt itself is a little bit bigger, and it keeps the pieces on steadier. So when you do those ones where it doesn't have a middle piece or a middle ring, they don't go just flying around everywhere like they do on the Disneyland one. So that's just something to keep note of. Now for the Maris Brood, really you just get I believe this is it. I believe that's Maris Brood. You put your tonfa handle, you put this little sleeve, and you put the Dooku emitter minus the little hook thing. Okay, so what's interesting actually about the Maris Brood one is they do it backwards actually. Instead of, this is kind of strange, but I get it kind of, except for that you can't hit the button. But they want you to use the Dooku emitter minus the little hook, the same sleeve that Dooku uses, right? It's got the little ribs on it. And then they want you to use the tonfa, but notice one side's longer than the other. They want you to put the longer non-threaded side over the button. See the red button there? It actually is going to cover the button. And then you start to screw it in. And it covers everything but this gold ring right in the middle. So it goes tonfa, gold ring that's already part of the emitter, sleeve piece, and then the emitter. But you can't turn it on or off. It's not too long. It's actually a comfortable length now. but you can't turn it on or off. So that's a little weird. I don't know how I feel about that. In fact, I would prefer to use it the other way, where you just screw it onto the bottom and it just kind of stops going. That, to me, feels a little bit better. But the artwork on the box shows it going the other way. And I don't know how to feel about that. It's kind of strange. So next, let's move into Yoda's. Let's just do Yoda real quick before we end the vid. Let's unscrew all of these pieces. Yoda's got this emitter. Yoda's got an igniter switch. That'll go last. Oh, interesting. How does that work? Yoda? Okay. Either way, it's got a hole in there so you can hit the button, but it's not really how this is going to work. So, I don't know. I really don't know. This is very strange to me. And then he's got a very basic bottom to it. And let me show you guys up close what Yoda's lightsaber looks like. There you go. There's our emitter. This specific piece here, it's got a little blocky top to it. And then we get our black portion here. This would be the ignition switch, little button. Doesn't actually do anything on the toy. But notice there's a hole there. In case you want to configure it to the lower portion where the button is, you can do that. But next we have this black and white striped piece. And then it's followed by the end cap, which is a very basic and flat end cap. And that is Yoda's lightsaber. That is how you do it. Alright guys, I'm going to let that wrap up this video. Let me know what you think about this ultimate build-your-own lightsaber set from the Clone Wars. One of the things, like I said earlier, is there's not really rings. So you can't like customize it as much as you can the Disneyland set. But if you have the ones from Disneyland, you can mix and match and put them all together. Like if I wanted, I could do 2 Tonfas. I could go double Tonfa because now I have 2 of them. So I could, you know, dual wheel. That's cool. That's a cool thing. Another thing I'm noticing is there was no Darth Vader piece because it's Clone Wars era. There's a lot of pieces that it did not come with. Darth Maul emitter, of course. Kanan Jarrus emitter isn't going to be there. But there was no Anakin emitter, which I find interesting for Clone Wars. Maybe he didn't have this lightsaber yet. The Darth Vader emitter wasn't there. So it's limited. It doesn't have everything, but it is really cool. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Guys, as always, if you want to support the channel, there's an Amazon link down in the comments section and also the video description below. If you don't shop on Amazon, don't worry. You can always just give me a thumbs up or leave me a nice comment and share this video with a fellow Star Wars fan. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on the next Build Your Own Lightsaber videos. I'm going to be going more in depth into Mace Windu and more in depth into the Yoda so that when you go to Disneyland, you know exactly what pieces to look for. So stay tuned for those vids. Also, Anakin's coming up, and I think episode 1 Obi-Wan lightsaber. Those are coming up too now that I have all the pieces. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Until next time, you know what to say. May the Force have with you, and goodbye forever.